So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot. Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Kick it.
Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the LaTangela Show podcast. You never know who's going to be in the hot seat or on the tan line, but I've got questions that need answers, and I'm grateful to see that you answered the call. This is an extension of your office, and today we're hanging out with none other than our mayor president, Sid, Coach. Put him in, Coach Edwards. How are you?
Oh, I am doing great. I just had to come get my energy shot today from you.
Look, it has been a long 9 months, although time flies when you have motion. How has it been for the past 9 months in this new role and really getting a grasp on everything?
Mostly good. I say mostly because
Yeah.
I can't say everything been good, right?
Right.
But mostly good, and it's been fun. It's been exhilarating. It's been frustrating. It's been hectic. Everything you could think of.
Right. And when you start making all of these efforts, sometimes just realizing that our mind and our hearts move at a different pace than process and procedures. How do you find that balance, one within self, and then the balance of communication with others who have a level of expectancy?
Well, it's that there comes a frustrating part, okay? Because as a football coach, I like to move fast.
Right.
So if I want something done, boom, done. I mean, I'm not talking about, hey, can you go do this? And then wait 7 months for it to go through 17 committees. We just get it done. And that's been an adjustment for me.
Yeah.
That knowing how slow government can move, but I got my whistle and I'm an accelerator, and I'm gonna push the envelope, to not only get things done right, but to get them done in a timely fashion. That's been the challenge.
And that's important because, so many times we have a lot of questions, and with not being able to get those questions answered in a timely fashion, that's one part. But then you want to start seeing the results, even when you start getting the answers. You've had enough time now to really get in, to see some of the things that are super important. All of them are, but the things that may come top tier. So now within the past 9 months, what does it look like on your top tier pecking order of a list?
Well, let's start with crime, in particular violent crime. I'm very proud, and I got to give credit to our police chief and the BRPD force, Sheriff Sid Gotro, and of course Jeff LaDuff,
Yes.
my director of public safety, Aishla Burgess, who is started the Office of Violence Prevention, and many other stakeholders in the community with social programs. As a collective effort, every category of crime is down in East Baton Rouge Parish except burglary, and I think next month we're going to see that drop below the line.
Yeah,
Of course, the one that makes the news is the murders,
it does.
and our murders are down. But I was talking to someone, they down, but is 60 something murders in Baton Rouge and 80 in the parish? Is that really good?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Not.
That's way too many broken family circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about it, that's a good point. Broken family circles of the victim, but also the perpetrator.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're gonna catch them.
And that's one of the things too, where a level of the frustration within the community comes, because you'll have all of these services and memorials and families that don't get to come home to their loved ones. Meanwhile, they're looking for some type of justice. They're looking for that person to be caught. How much assistance from the community would really come in handy if we were to get off of that do not snitch policy? If you know something, tell something.
Well, let me say this. We have moved the needle on that too. People are talking. People are talking because you know what?
People are tired.
They tired. They're frustrated. And you look, one murder, how many people does it affect? Okay, I'm talking in the family unit. The accused, the victim, it affects so many people, but people are tired of living like that.
Yeah.
So you'd be amazed at how people are talking because, and part of it is BRPD and the sheriff's office has one of the highest rates of solving cases right now of arrest in the nation.
Wow.
It's 64 to 65% success rate right now, and they are working their tails off. So just know if you go out there and you do this, okay, look at the numbers. The percentages are now you're going to be locked up, okay? So I'm very proud of our community because they are indeed sharing information and talking and helping.
And when it comes to the crime, especially here in Baton Rouge, it's so small of a city, to where now even reporting the news, I either know who it happened to or who did it. And it's a hard place to be. It's so depressing when you start seeing it come in. Do you think that there has been a peak in gang-like activity here in our city? Because when you look at it on a national spectrum, you see people and you see what the crime rates look like. Um, we don't want to get into a mimic type situation, but it's starting to feel like these kids are getting younger and younger with these guns in their hands.
They are. I mean, you're talking 11, 12 years old, who they're not built for guns. I'm not built for a gun. But they are getting younger and younger. I know this summer there was an initiative that focused on some of the gangs between the FBI, TAF, BRPD, Sheriff's Office, all of those entities, and they did a good job. Our Office of Violence Prevention here again, Miss Angela Burgess. We're so lucky to have her.
Absolutely.
She has a bead on the young people. When you say, hey, you look, it's a smaller town than we think, and we know people. She knows all these kids and
by name.
Yeah, and knows what's going on. So collectively, all of that is helping tamp down some stuff. The people think it's just law enforcement, it's just the cops. It's not.
Right.
I don't have a statistic on how many beefs that didn't turn into bloodshed because of intel and hard street work and getting down with these kids.
Yeah. And even a lot of the wraparound services that you see, the opportunities for the kids to be involved into different things. I'd much rather see them with instruments in their hands versus guns. I'd much rather them learning a skill set versus going out there playing around with guns. What does it look like for you and your team in collaboration in forming those type of partnerships?
We still have a lot of work to do, but we're in it. We're trying to get through this budget year because sometimes these services, well, they always cost money, and we think we need that to be a big part of what we're doing. We know the root cause of crime, in particular violent crime, often is poverty, and it's so it's an attacking it on all fronts. But I'm excited as we build out. We're going to be able to address those things more deeply.
You touched on something when you said budgets, because we always have more fun with more funds. We make a bigger impact when we have more funds. Everybody gets along when we can distribute the funds. Right. What does that budget look like for us in 2025 for the remainder thereof? And what are some of the things that you would like to see for the upcoming year?
Well, it's tough right now. It's tight. It's real tight. We had the American Rescue Plan Act funds, which, we don't have much left. There's not much left in there. And we use that, the previous administration used that to do a lot of things, a lot of good things. We're trying to be creative on what we can do. There's a lot of reasons where I call it a budget crisis. There's a lot of reasons to no fault of their own. St. George pulling out, is a hole in the budget. It's pretty big. And amongst a lot of other things, when you look at the budget, people think, everybody says, hey, coach, it's a $1.3 billion budget. The truth is, it's a $300 million budget because a lot of the entities, who are operating in silos, they got their own stream of funds. And then when you look at the whole budget, just to give you an example, 1/3 of the budget goes to law enforcement.
Okay.
And think about this, we're 150 officers short.
We're going to circle back to that because I got questions that need answers.
That's right. So it's things are tight. We're going to present a budget in November. But sometimes, when you go to the well and you're thirsty, and you scoop in there, you don't come up with nothing but sand. Well, it's
Yeah.
sand, and the budget got to be the budget, you know. So and I know we'll talk a little later about what we have on the ballot coming up November 15th, which could be, you know, some stuff to quench our thirst a little bit to get us through.
Right.
But we're way past the middle of operating on the budget. We're towards the end of it, and we meet again next week to kind of tidy it up before, you know, our Metropolitan Council gets it, and they you know, add and subtract and all that.
Good. You know, often we have Chief Morris come in and he'll talk and give us an overview. Had the opportunity to speak to some of our Academy members, and, you know, to see that they put in so much work and that their heart is in this, because you have to decide to get out here in these streets to serve and to protect and everything that comes along with it, right? It's heavy. For recruitment, what does that look like? Is it a certain age range? Is there a certain criteria that we feel we're going to harness on more than we had in the past? Are we going to do more recruitment options at an earlier age through our cadet programs? Because it's important that we do get men and women on our force that, one, love it. When I go to a third grade academy and say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would love for these kids to raise their hands and say officers.
Right. It's tough right now. There's some roadblocks to it. Okay. One is you know, in the past, the polish got off the badge a little bit. You know, our fine men and women, you know, in law enforcement, aren't looked like kind of like when I grew up. You know, I knew the officer that patrolled my neighborhood in my area by name.
Yeah.
And you could see them coming. And that's not quite the case right now. Our officers have mainly been reactive versus proactive because of the shark. But I came in and I've tried to polish that badge the best I could. Our men and women of BRPD in particular are the pay is very low. And so what I focused on was trying to boost the morale, and maybe one day I can address their pay. That's my goal. That's what I ran on. But you got to start there, you know. Now I will tell you, to be a law enforcement officer, I think you've alluded to it. It's a calling.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not a job or a career. If I want a job, I'll go work at J.C. Penney, right? That's a job. There's some things in our world that you're called to do. And these, I mean, you just look at the two officers, you know, that were, you know, one murdered,
Yeah.
one critical in Iberville Parish.
Same.
So, like when I was a coach, I'd go to work. The risk, or I might have a mama mad at me because her baby didn't get the ball enough, or
Yeah.
you know, somebody might be tardy. But generally speaking, you're not going to work not knowing if you ain't gonna come home.
Yeah. That's the sacrifice. It's a decision.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
Because it is very much real.
Very real.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's one of the things that if we can extend our platforms to assist in getting the messaging out as of what it looks like to become an officer, or even some of those wraparound entities that will make it an easier fit, by all means, please come in and let's make that happen. I know you have this Thrive initiative that's going on. I've been seeing the signs, been hearing about it in passing, but let's just say this is the first time anyone has ever heard about Thrive. It's on the way, and we need to know.
All right. Let me start off by saying this. It's not a new tax. Okay. It's not a new tax. We're not putting something new on there. And basically how it was born, late January, February, we started talking about a way of how we can try to get this parish afloat.
Okay.
And skipping some of the minutiae, some of the early days, the East Baton Rouge Parish Library, the Council on Aging, and Mosquito Abatement are three entities that came together with our Metropolitan Council and the Mayor's Office to sit down and what can we do to rededicate some money. Take the library, for example. 30 years ago, Mayor Pat Screen, they came in, they did a campaign because the libraries were in bad shape. They only had a couple. The roofs were falling in. It was bad, but that was 30 years ago. Okay.
Things have changed.
We have an absolutely beautiful library system, one of the best in the country. I think 15 or 16 branches are where we're at.
And our bookmobiles.
And the bookmobiles, and they're good stewards of their money. They pay cash for everything.
A lot of great programs.
Yeah, how good they are. Well, this is 30 years later. And whereas our libraries are indeed thriving, there are other parts of the parish that need attention. So the library was good enough to say, let us contribute to the overall, to the general fund, for us to kind of tend to some of the things that are lacking right now. Everything from our streets to stormwater, infrastructure, you name it. Well, Council on Aging, look, they got the work they do in our town.
They do amazing work.
Amazing work. They came to the table and said, we want to help too, because together better, right?
Right.
Mosquito abatement. People don't think about them, until the mosquitoes come, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but these three entities got together and they said, what can we do? So it's a rededication of millages. It's going to the ballot. It's fees people already have been paying for 30, 40 years, and it's up for renewal. And then all we're going to do is each of those entities are going to put a little bit of their monies into the general fund. If we do that, there'll be some one-time money with $53 million in debt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's general fund, 53 million in debt. It would immediately pay that debt. Once it pays that debt, then we will be able to see 9.3 million annually. So in other words, we're paying $9 million a year on that debt. Won't have to pay that no more. That's 9 million we're gonna have in the bank. Then it's gonna leave about 24 million. There'll be about $24 million annually. Well, that is to plug the hole in the budget of pretty much St. George leaving out.
Okay.
So now we're down to $4.5 million. What are we gonna do with that? Well, the focus is gonna be on stormwater, drainage, and infrastructure. So a lot gets touched with all that. But then I start getting questions. Well, what about police pay? What about our DPW workers? What about this? What about that? Well, it makes sense to know that if our debt is gone, because it's just, let me put it this way. Let's say I want to go buy me a new car and I'm going to go buy me a Camry, and I go to the dealership and I apply for credit, right? And they look and they see that I make $58,000 a year, but 53 of it's going to debt. I'm not going to qualify for that car.
Right.
Our parish is $53 million in debt. So if I need help, or I need federal help, or I need to do something to take a loan, or there's a disaster, they're not going to let me borrow that money, right? We're going to be out. So there's so many things. But watch this. It goes to the ballot November 15th. November 1st is early voting. Here's my worry. You know what else is going on November 15th?
What's that?
The LSU Tigers are playing at home in a day game. And guess what's happening on the other side of town?
What's that?
These Southern University Jaguars are playing at home.
So you mean to tell me we're going to have redirected energy?
Look, hey, you know where we at.
Yeah.
Them cats are playing.
Yeah.
And both. So we asking people to go early vote to get out there. But watch this. All 12 council members signed off on it. They're all in agreement. I want you to think about that. 7 Republicans, 5 Democrats say, hey, we together. This has to happen.
Right.
All the mayors, except one right now, and I know this one's going to come on board. I already know it, are for it and have endorsed it. The Republican Party of East Baton Rouge Parish has endorsed it, and the Democratic Party of East Baton Rouge Parish has endorsed it.
Right.
The firemen, the police union, the AFL-CIO, every endorsement I can get, I've done got. And you know what's scary? It still has a chance it won't pass.
If we do not show up, let our voices be heard through the vote.
Oh,
it could
look.
definitely damper things.
Yes, it's going to be low voter turnout. We're projecting less than 18%. And then my worry too is the messaging. What does it mean? People, I'm still a coach. I'm still a coach.
Walk us through it.
All right. How do I go and I tell the people, trust me, we're going to use it for the right thing. Trust me, it's going to be good. Trust me, it's going to save the parish. People have been saying, trust me, since, I don't know, Roosevelt was president, even George Washington.
Yeah.
And then I'll be damned if government still does things that the public looks at and says, man, we can't trust that.
Yeah.
But that ain't who I am. That ain't who I am. We're going to do just what I'm saying. We're going to do with it. Because here's the deal. Ask me this. What if it don't pass?
That was my next question. I heard all of these great things. You said not a new tax, it's a renewal, reallocating some funds so everything goes along, and this is what we can get if we do. It sounds great. Well, what happened if we don't show up to vote in its favor?
Baton Rouge likes its parties. We like our celebrations, right? I'll give you an example. I had a lady call me and she said, "Look, coach, we got all these parades between Christmas and Mardi Gras. They coming." And she said, "But I need to know from you because we're hearing words. We don't have the money to pay the security, the police. Okay, we don't have the money to do it. So I need to know from you," because she has a troop. And she says, "We're trying to build our calendar." But I said, "Ask me after November 15th. I'm just being real." I mean, that's a small thing. Our celebrations, our parades, our events, our festivals. I'll give you an example. What I'll call you fill in the blank, a major parade, whatever it may be, Spanish Town or whatever. Around $30,000 to $35,000 just to pay security for that event.
If it goes away.
And we've been paying that.
And if you can't have the security, you can't have the event.
You can't have the event. And I'm gonna tell you now, if it don't pass, it's done. We won't. But that's just the fun things we like. Our roads will not be as good as the plan we have on them. I know we got Move BR. That's for some big plans. There will be cuts. People will lose their jobs, and it'll be pretty sharp cut. On that. And I don't want to fearmonger, but
we have to face a realization. You said all the great things that would happen if it worked in its favor. But I mean, it's just the realization of the things that may not work in its favor. These are the things that will dwindle with it.
Right. And then some people, would it not be in a new tax? Let me be transparent. If you own a $200,000 home, you're going to pay, I think, $3 a month more, just because the millage went up a little bit. And here's what I'm telling the people. If we can this is to stabilize the budget. This isn't going to make us the world's richest city. This is just
bare minimum at this point.
Keep our head above water,
right,
and be able to maintain our lifestyle. Okay, but there is a plan B. Coach always has another plan. I just don't like the other plan.
What does the other plan look like? In a nutshell.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, we're going to have to cut services. I mean, your garbage gets picked up twice a week. Might be picked up once every 10 days. We
that's
have
a big deal when you think about it.
Oh man,
it really is.
Especially when it's 97 degrees outside in South Louisiana, right?
Yeah.
But our roads, our infrastructure, our stormwater, here again, the reduction of force of people. So just general services, but it's no different than a family. If I got to go to Plan B, but look, I'm gonna make it happen.
But these are the conversations that we don't have enough, right?
That's right.
And it's like, if we don't know, we're not invited to the party. We already made our plans for the game days.
Right.
We understand that. So this has to be a part of the game day activation. What is your plan? Do you know where we're going? We know that there's something on the ballot, but why is it there? What happens? And then the conversation should begin younger and younger. This is dinner table talk.
Right.
It's important. And I know that this is going to be something that's major. And for others who may want to be involved in the conversation, to have you come out and speak, you and your team, are you open for that as well?
Oh, 100. We'll talk to anybody. We'll go anywhere. This is tough. This is a tough campaign. Like, now I ain't making like I knew what I was doing when I ran for mayor, because I didn't know you knew. We talked. I didn't know what I was doing when I was, but I've learned a lot. But if I'm out there selling myself, it's easy. Listen.
Let's touch on that for a second. Do you think that weighs in at all, even now in the 9 months that you've been there and you come with these new ideas and you say this can keep us afloat? Do you feel as if people now have given you that trust factor, or they're willing to take that leap of faith with you?
I want to think that. I really want to think that. But I don't know if my body of work or scope of work, if 9 months has been enough. Because I find myself, there's just one of me. And I believe me, I've been accused of, "Hey man, you haven't came to our side of town," or, "Hey man, I've been everywhere." But there's only one of me.
Yeah.
And I'm working for the greater good. I'm working for everyone. I would hope that the public would give me that chance and trust me with this deal. And things that worry me is like Thrive. You're not going to walk in a booth. It's like I'm saying with a campaign, I could sell me, but to sell an initiative, when they walk in the booth, there's going to be no button that says Thrive. So I've got to educate the public.
There you go.
It's proposition 1, 2, and 3. 1 is the library, 1 is the council on aging, and 1 is mosquito abatement. It's 3. So that's our next phase as the clock counts down.
It is definitely ticking.
To let people know exactly what this is.
And lives are attached to every decision. And I appreciate you and your team for taking time to be here. Thrive, it's one of the things that's been important to you. We touched on crime. I know that you have things going on with blight and just trying to make, Baton Rouge a place that we love even more than we do right now. And I know that your office is always open at brla.gov.
That's it. That's it. Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely. This is your office. Go ahead.
Don't get confused with Lit Pizza. Now I know I'm not supposed to advertise him, but we Baton Rouge is getting lit. Watch what I'm saying. Go ride down Plank Road. Tell me what you see. The daggum thing about it is you can see now because we got those lights up.
Listen,
let's go.
I thought I was gonna have to start running some extension cords for a while.
No. Now don't get me wrong. There's 1,000 lights. But Goodwood Boulevard, it looks like daytime at night. Downtown Baton Rouge is lit up. Plank Road is lit up. I hate to put it out there, Bill. I'm not supposed to, talking to my guy over there, I'm not supposed to put
this
this
he's a Sherman. He's good.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Hey, stay awake, Brookstown. You next, you up the bat.
Yeah.
And we're doing just things we're doing. The pothole posse, the tires we're picking up. We've knocked 136 houses down and put some back in commerce. But I want to keep doing those things. I want to keep doing them. But man, proposition 1, 2, and 3, November 15th, early voting November 1st.
Yeah.
I need you to go do your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I look forward to seeing you here at least once a month. You can pull up anytime, but at least once a month. Can we commit to that?
Committed.
All right, say let's do more. I know you have more work to do, so I'm gonna let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, Coach, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
I love you back.